All right, back to the problem at hand. I did remove the the valve cover, the first and third cylinders, just to check things out, and it's now a little bit easier to explain what's going on here. So again, um, the end goal is to get the engine out of the frame so I can rehaul it. The service manual says that removing the whole engine from the frame is a three-man job because this thing it's about like 200 pounds. Uh, so my idea was to strip it of everything that can be removed while the engine is still in frame to make things easier, right? So I was going to remove pretty much, well, disconnect the final drive, remove the clutch slave cylinder, water pump, alternator, the clutch on the other side, everything, right? And most importantly, the heads, because they contribute a lot. Um, and so here, with the cover off, you can see where the problem is. So to remove this whole thing, we need to basically remove these camshafts, right? These are the valves. There they are, right? These are intake valves. These are exhaust valves. These are exhaust camshaft. This is intake camshaft, right? But to remove the camshaft, you kind of slide it out, right? Because there's this chain that goes over, and in order to slide it out, you need to remove these sprockets. And so to remove the sprockets, they're held by these bolts here, and there's two for each sprocket, like this one, and one is on the opposite side. And you see the one on the opposite side, right? It's hidden right now. So to get it up, you need to rotate the engine, right? So to basically rotate the main shaft, right? The crankshaft. So internally, while it rotates, it would grab that chain, rotate those sprockets, and you get the other bolt out on top. You can unscrew that. But in my case, problem is the engine is seized. So what am I gonna do? What's the plan? There's as far as I can see, there are like three options, right? And in order of what I would try last to what I would try first, the last thing would be, well, screw that, remove the whole engine, remove the oil pan at the bottom, and start working from the bottom. Split the crankshaft case, try to remove the crankshaft and like pistons and everything else from the bottom. Transmission, but A, that is a lot of work, and B, that it still might be impossible to remove the chain that way, right? Now, the another option, one before that, is I could probably try. So the chain is held under tension by the tensioner. So the tensioner is this component here, and it's spring loaded. So I might be able to, well, remove this slide guide and try and remove the tensioner But again, it might be impossible because it basically it sits under the chain that it tensions, right? So kind of chicken egg problem. Um, so what I'm gonna try and do first is unseize the engine, because that's eventually that's the end goal. So I might as well just try it first because it will make a lot of, well, everything else a lot easier. Um, how am I gonna do that, right? Because again, as you remember, these things are stuck in there real good. Uh, well, first, I'm gonna try and clean as much of like rust out of there as possible. Uh, then I'll dump or essentially fill it with a vapor rust. Let it see it do its job. Evacuate it from there with as much of debris as possible. Refill it again, clean it with a brush, and rinse and repeat, right? And see how clean I can make it. Uh, so it should get those valves unstuck eventually. Uh, for the pistons, I will probably, you can see that one in there. I'll probably fill them with something better. Now, let me show you. So I did some shopping. Got myself some brushes, nylon, steel, brass. Brass should work just fine, right? Then this is a transfer pump, so I can put the vapor rust to the cylinders and the intake chambers. The suction gun to get use the vapor rust out, and then so this is our trusty vapor rust, pure magic if you ask me. And for the cylinders themselves, for the pistons to get them moving, I actually read through some forums, and everybody say that like the best thing, well, the next best thing to the vinegar is actually a combination of these two guys. So the automatic transmission fluid and acetone mixed 1-to-1. I'll see what it does, right? So again, fill these guys with a vapor rust, fill these guys with the mix of ATF and acetone, rinse and repeat, try to move the engine once in a while, and I'll keep you posted. See ya.